I feel like a broken record that's probably going to say this about 15 million times, but let me just elaborate what happened. I'm probably going to give the full story because some of y'all are not going to understand, and if y'all have already saw the news, y'all would understand what happened. But I was sitting in my room, and it came from outside. It was probably about like 12, 1 o'clock, and I was sitting here, and I was on the phone with my friend, and all I heard was what sounded like the side of the house just fell off, and I was like, what was that? So I walked out of my room, and I went to my parents, and I was like, did y'all hear that? They were like, yeah. I was walking behind my dad as he was going out of the door, and he turned to the right and did not see a thing. And then he felt like the heat on the side of his face. And as he saw the flames, I walked around the corner and I saw the fire. And I was like, my first thought was to run to my brother's room and get him out, because his room is right there at the porch where the flames were at. Of course, there was flames around the thing, but we didn't see that till later. But and he I went to go get my brother, and I was like, we gotta get out of the house is on fire. And I was grabbing him, and I was getting the dogs out of the house, and I was doing all this stuff, and my mom was supposed to call the fire department. Well, she was still so in shock, she was just standing there, and my dad was like, what are you doing? You need to call the fire department, the house is on fire, what are you doing? Well, of course, we didn't see the flames on the side of the house because we were so occupied with the porch, and there was a couple going down the road, and they saw the flames on the side, so they were like, well, the wife in the passenger seat was like, I think the house is on fire. And the husband goes, I don't think so. I think that's just a light. And, well, the wife was like, well, I don't think they would have a light that has driven fire. That's weird. So he was like, we need to turn around. So they turned around, and they saw the fire this time, and they jumped our ditch and to get into our driveway. And thank God they stopped, because if we would have never even seen the side on fire. And he jumped out of his car, and he was like, it's on the side, and he was stomping out the flames and stuff like that. The damage does not look that bad. It's not that bad, but the scary thing is there's vents outside of our house, and luckily they were closed. If they weren't closed, he was trying to dump gasoline into the vents to set the underneath on fire so we wouldn't have seen it. But thank God the vents were closed. He had parked down at the new house that is built right up the street, and he had parked there. He had run through the woods, through back behind our neighbor's house, and then came over by our fence. Me and my brother were literally sitting out there not even 2 minutes before the fire even started. My brother was sitting in the chair that he lit on fire, and God knows how long he was listening to our conversation. He was listening to my conversation with my friend that I was having. As I was sitting there on the phone with my friend, he was throwing gasoline onto the house, and he was literally lighting the fire, and it was scary. He was arrested the next day. He told the cops that he didn't care who was in the house at the time, if there was kids, if there was pets, nothing, if there was a family in there. He didn't care. He just wanted to burn it down. We did not know the guy personally. Prior a couple weeks to that, he came and did our porch. We didn't know him. Our landlord, because we rent this house, our landlord, he gave, the guy's name. If you don't know the guy's name, his name is David Stark. But if you do, David had this house with a verbal contract with our landlord, and he was gonna get this house, but he did not have money in hand, and he was still trying to get the money. So we had money in hand. So we got this house, and he was mad at the fact that we got the house, so he decided he was going to come over here late Saturday night and try to set it on fire. Well, he was already going to go to jail for the bad checks that he was cashing out at the Touchstone Bank, which he tried to set on fire too. They would already have him on surveillance, so he decided he was going to go try to burn that down. And then the corporation, he came over here and then tried to set our house on fire. Luckily, we got it put out just in time, and then he went over to his apartment complex and tried to set a fire there, which was in my head thinking, this guy's really sick. That's so sick that you're going to tell the police that you didn't care who was in the house, if there was kids, if there was babies, if there was pets, nothing like that. You just wanted to burn it down. And I wanted to say something so bad. What if that was your family? What if that was your family in the situation that we were in? You didn't know an innocent family. You didn't know nothing about us. You were just trying to set it on fire. That's wrong. That is totally wrong. And yes, it could have been a lot worse, but it was scary. And I know there's other people out there that have been in house fires, but that was probably the most terrifying thing in my life, and I would never want anyone else to experience what happened to my family. But if y'all have any more questions, just DM me or something like that. But I just wanted to elaborate real quick because I know a lot of people were asking what happened. So there you go.